So what's up, photography world? Welcome to Don't Be the Photographers, where we interview the best photographers in the world to learn what makes them tick. I'm your host, Atlanta wedding photographer Josh Ogasso, and today we have a very special guest, one of my favorite photographers in the world, the award-winning Ken Pak, who has been ranked in the top 10 in the world with Fearless Photographers, which is one of my favorite organizations. So much killer work on there. If you haven't heard of them, definitely check it out. Also, he's been winning awards in all sorts of other organizations. So besides being an awesome award-winning photographer, he's also a really great guy. So we're looking forward to talk to him, and let's get into it. So Ken, how are you doing today?
Hey, how you doing, Josh? Thanks for the opportunity to participate in your podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you'll be a real treat for our listeners. We'll get into your style a little bit and let you describe it. But one of my favorite things about looking at your work is I feel like you bring a different level of creativity as far as trying to find some fun and personality in photos, not just doing quirky stuff with lighting, but I think you're one of the best at trying to find really unique, fun ways of bringing a couple's personalities in the story. So would you think that's fair as describing part of your style?
Well, it's like more than 100% correct.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think if I want to add a little more to that, I try to capture the moments from the groom and bride's perspectives, and then their like families or best friends' perspectives. So it's kind of like that's my top priority. Like shoot from their perspective, so they can embrace their photos more than like any other photos, because they can feel their personalities and then moments of their own. And then I try to kind of like add my creativity right there, just to kind of like make it a little more special and different and unique to their memories.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, definitely great at capturing moments too. That's a big part of like the fearless thing, and people really valuing getting those moments and then finding the quirks. And we'll share a few photos that show some of that fun personality that I think you bring to photography, and we'll mention that in a minute. But also, since I'll ask you about awards more later, but I guess first we'll start out with you as a person. I guess like what drew you to getting into photography? Tell us a little bit about like your background.
Oh, so my background is my education is not in fine art. It's environmental science and engineering. That's what I studied.
Oh, cool.
In college, and then I worked for the state government for 8 years as a field officer, doing compliance works, and I kind of liked it in the beginning, but I kind of lost my appetite in it. So
yeah,
try to find something else that really takes my heart led to. So because I really loved and then have fond memories with watercoloring and the water painting when I was little, I kind of started paying more attention to what I really loved when I was little. And then at the time, digital photography kind of like started like showing in the market. So and then my church bought like one of the first generation cameras from Kodak company.
Oh, wow.
It was like back in 1997 or 1998.
So you were really early in it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So and because I was in the my church is a media team, I started like playing with it's like a brand new digital technology, and I kind of like fell in love with just like how easy and accessible just to view and then edit the photos, and then all these like limitless like opportunities. I can play with the images. Like I kind of like wow, this is like I felt my destiny right there. So yeah. I started spending more time and studying more time about the photography, especially digital photography. Of course, there wasn't not much of resources available back then. No YouTube back then, but I try to teach myself with whatever sources I can find, and then at the same time, my friends were getting married, so I started with the video first. And then that kind of provided me to see how other photographers work.
Yeah.
Because all my friends, they hire different photographers, not the same one every time. So I got to, see and then, study how others do. And then that was like my workshop for me in the beginning stage. And then, year after I got married, I quit my job and then decided to become a full-time wedding photographer. That was like back in 2005.
Oh, wow. Cool. So you've been doing it for a long time then.
16 years.
Yeah.
For the first half of the my career, I did a lot of video, and then I made a transition to photography as a full-time. I guess my last video gig was about 7 years ago. Yeah. So.
Cool. So you started out with video. That probably helped you get a good idea for learning about dealing with the clients and the wedding day and composition and some things. But
yeah, because the videographer and the photographer, they always stick together for the groom and brides, and then planner, of course, they stay really close to them. So I kind of get to learn atmosphere and then working environment and how how professionally those vendors treat the groom and bride and then the rest of the guests. So and then their communication skills and then all these psychology they run through from their brain. It kind of really inspired me and helped me to learn. Oh, this is pros and cons, and then I shouldn't do this, and then I should do this better. Things like that. So I think that really helped me not only being a good photographer, but only being a good professional vendor, dealing with the groom and brides, their struggles and then, dilemmas at the wedding day. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's like half the battle. Just learning how to get them comfortable so you can get the best out of them.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, for sure. So what drew you to photography over video? Was it more because you wanted photography all along and then you just used video as a step to getting there?
I feel more comfortable as I started shooting photos. At the same time, I was doing video. And then my friends, actually, a lot of couples, they prioritize photography over video a lot. So definitely my friends were started asking me for photography over video. And then that's kind of how the ratio went up for photography than video. And then, like I said, my last video was about 7 years ago, and ever since then, it's been 100% photography project.
Nice. So you probably don't miss the video too much?
I still miss it.
Yeah.
I started with the conventional video camcorders, and then my last gig, I shot that wedding with the Canon 5D Mark II, where which inspired everybody to start shooting in the cinematic style.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a big, huge transition. So that was when you were leaving it, right when it was getting cool.
Yeah. I shot about 10 to 15 wedding projects with the 5D Mark II, and I really enjoyed shooting in cinematic style. So that's the when I bought all the sliders and then the auto sliders and then Jeep style tripods and stuff. So I can get some action shots, but it was too much. I have to carry too much stuff.
Yeah. That's the worst part.
And then I was not really capturing the real moments. I have to stage my clients a lot, which I didn't really enjoy. So as I learned more about photography, I paid more attention to the capturing the authentic moments without fabricating their moments and stories. So it kind of naturally the video naturally phased out from my heart because of that fact.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree. There's something it almost sounds weird to some, maybe from the outside, because you would think, oh, you're capturing moments on video. Obviously you're showing the whole moment and everything else. And I do know most videographers are usually having to set stuff up, but in theory you could try to capture stuff naturally like we do. But there's something about when you're getting that peak action and really capturing the frame that almost it's weird to say, but it almost feels like the photographers do a better job of capturing the real authentic, raw stories. Yeah,
I think it's because of the equipment we carry as a videographer. It's huge.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a lot. It's bulkier than the small cameras. That I think that really distracts the people.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. It's more the lockdown aspect of it. So putting the camera on a tripod and things like that. You don't feel like you can really get in. You see a moment happening and you need to move position like we do. We're just you can get really in close with the 35 and stuff like that. So awesome.
I was still able to capture a lot of real moments out of video, but it's just the editing portion was really drop my taste in it.
Yeah. That's why I've always thought I'd like trying it. Like it seems fun, but the editing part would be overwhelming. And that's probably also why you have to stick to a formula a little bit, because when you go to edit and you know how to edit a process, and then if you're capturing all the weird little side moments, then you got to integrate that into your
You're right.
Yeah, your editing, and it'd probably be so cumbersome. I'm imagining. But cool. So I didn't realize you did so much work with video. So that's a fun fact for me for today.
Yeah, that's why a lot of my photos happen to be in the horizontal, like the 2:3 ratio, rather than vertical, because I'm very used to seeing everything through that
absolutely
2x3 viewfinder. So.
Yeah, for sure. And I've pretty much gotten glued to the wide horizontal aspect ratio as well. And I've almost need to force myself to try some more vertical.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think the more of a documentary photographer you are, the more you stick with that, because that's naturally how you see a story. So yeah.
I didn't really try like a panoramic style, like the rear cinema, like a ratio. I kind of stay with the 2x3, but it just like started dictating me to see all these like aesthetical, like compositional, like formulas, the triangles and the rule of thirds through that ratio. Then those super panoramic or vertical. So that's how I see the moments better with a better composition and better angle.
Yeah, definitely. It'd almost be a creative challenge to try to practice doing vertical just to see how we can make it work with moments and stuff. But it doesn't feel the same when it's a moment, I don't think, usually, unless it's horizontal.
And some moments they look better in vertical, so you have to be kind of like ambidextrous about going back.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, depending on the frame and whatnot.
Yeah.
Awesome. So then so you've been doing it about 16 years now. So
yes.
Yeah, you pretty much until 2020, making everything all crazy. You probably enjoyed it most of that time. Yeah. What would you say your favorite thing about being a wedding photographer is?
Yeah, definitely. Last year was the my slowest year of my 16 years of photography, experience. But my favorite part is just like I become part of their memories. My clients' memories. Like I don't come as just like photographer or vendor or complete stranger taking photos. I think it's because of my personality that really works for a lot of my couples. So every time they see the photos, they say they appreciate how much efforts and then hard work I put to capture those moments, and they really cherish the moment through the photos with their family members and then friends. So I think that's what I really enjoy because I resonate myself a lot through their experience too, especially with the family members. My dad passed away 3 months after my son was born, and then he was prepping to see my son, and then he had a heart attack. So he never got to see my son. He only saw the pictures. So every time, the father of the groom or father of the bride speaks something about their memories from childhood, like I sometimes I shoot with my tears running.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think
on my cheek. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I think that's part of why you're good at capturing moments. I think you have to be, if you're a really empathetic person that like connects with other people's, how they feel, it makes it easier for us to pick up on those, because I'm the same way. If whenever I see emotion, I start getting it. Especially if it's like a father of the bride, because I connect with that having daughters, or if it's like mother-son dance or something, because parent connections and
parent connection, grandmother. I was raised by my grandmother for my early 6 years, while my parents were busy making money. So, so I have a special connection with the grandmas too. And then because I have a son, I always have connections with the kids at the weddings. Then because I was also raised by my uncle at the same time, my grandma was raising me, I used to have connections with uncles too. So just everybody become just like my family every time I do weddings. So yeah, it's a really very heartfelt experience that I get.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say that's probably my favorite part too. You feel like you really get to know them because on a wedding day, they're who they are because they're with their VIPs, like their family and friends forever. So they usually let their guard down, and you get to see how people really feel about each other and who they really are. And then because you're watching that emotion and connecting with them, it's funny. It's like you know them for one day. Sometimes you have engaged sessions and other things you've connected with them longer, but there's times where couples are super busy and it's literally like they book me and it's like I'll meet you on our wedding, and by the end of the day you feel like you've known them for 5 years because it's so much that level.
You're right. I think it's the same way that my clients feel about me too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they feel like they've known me for many years. That's how close they feel with me, and then it really helps me and then free me from all these tensions and then stress.
Definitely. Is there anything that you find that you do that helps you get that connection with them or let them feel connected to you and comfortable?
So I think I can start with the virtual meetings or in-person meetings. We try to talk about lifestyle and then what we really enjoy, and then some family stories too. So we can easily connect ourselves all together. And then if my clients happen to do an engagement session, all their family members and friends, they get to see the engagement photos after the session. And then they, at least, I like to deliver awesome photos as part of their collection. So, when people meet me at the wedding, they're like, oh, you're the one who captured their amazing engagement photos. Mm-hmm. So that really helps me connecting with these people better. It ultimately helped them feel more comfortable and more cohesive to my approach. So yeah, that's how I guess things work.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I agree that the engagement sessions help a lot with that connection and building it. Do you find most of your couples have an engagement session or?
About 50%.
Yeah, that's about right.
Also, when I walk into getting ready room, I try to kind of introduce myself and then try to remember everybody's name in the room. So at least mother, bride, and then her best friends and siblings or sisters, they kind of have an initial connection established in the beginning of the day, and then that really kind of makes a nice transition to the rest of the day. And of course, because they think I'm a good person, they just introduce me to all their their family members and friends at the wedding, especially during the cocktail hours and then reception. So other family members who never saw me, they come to me and they say, "Oh, I've heard about you. I saw you working hard, and you disappear and then show up here and there." So they find me working really interesting to their too. Not necessarily being distracted, but it's just part of their joy.
Yeah, for sure. I always find that kind of neat how often they notice you working hard. Because we definitely, I don't know, the way that you shoot and I shoot, where you're really motivated to capture every moment. It doesn't matter if it's a small moment. You're busting your butt and running all over the place.
You're right.
And so I think they notice that because they're not used to seeing. And even when I've hired photographers, sometimes I haven't worked with, they shoot the obvious stuff and then they're kind of standing around. I think to really level up your game, you have to expect to be really working hard and constantly looking for better photos. If where you're standing there's nothing happening, it's boring, then move and look. And
I mean, there are a lot of elements that really play together for me to become some sort of I don't know, person with a connection to their hearts. But I think it's just it's just magic that really works for me. But I think that I want to value the ice-breaking process that I have in the beginning of the day. So that really helps me loosen up everything with people. It's I'm getting into their comfort zone while I'm trying to stay away from my comfort zone. Yeah, for my creative vision. But because I give a lot of room for them to accept me, it really helps me to free their soul and then let them become their who they are.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Throughout the whole day.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with that, the fun, quirky, creative photos that you come up with sometimes. I think definitely you'd want, couples need to really feel like you're a friend, kind of.
a lot of like pretty much like 99% of my photos are very spontaneous.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, so you kind of have to kind of work with the your spontaneity and then their personalities and then their mood of the day. So you just pick the right time and right timing, right mood, just to get that shot.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's for their memories. You know, it's not for me. I mean, I really enjoy capturing something, you know, unusual, quirky, super creative, but it's all meant to deliver, you know, something out of the world for my clients. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then, yeah, so I think that sometimes that might be the hardest thing for photographers who might be naturally introverted and like to just be in the back of the room watching, to be in and make a presence of yourself when you walk into a room with a bunch of new bridesmaids you've never met and stuff. Is there anything that you do to like help break the ice or get them to know you, for besides the bride? Because obviously you make a good connection beforehand, but then you have this whole crew that.
Just for the groomsmen photos, when I do the groomsmen and the groom photos, I this is like one of the jokes that I make, like a nice prompt to get their creative, I'm saying energy out of or laughter out of their heart. So when I ask them to put their hands in the pocket, I just tell them, you know, just don't play with your balls. Yeah, and when the brides, you know, they all want to be like pretty and then beautiful for their perfect day. So when I ask the groom to put their hands around the bride's body, I just like ask him to put your hand around her paper thin waist of the bride.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, kind of like ongoing, I don't know, prompt for them to keep their, you know, vibes, you know, up high and then, you know, happy throughout the whole day.
Yeah,
a bit of prompts, like fun jokes out of our mouths really help them.
For sure.
Enjoy their day. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the little tricks of the trade. Is as soon as you get them laughing, then they get relaxed, they're cool, and then once you finally come up with that line that works, then you put that in your back pocket and use it every time. Yeah. So I almost need to like brainstorm a list of stuff. I always think I need to brainstorm a list of things to try to whip out. Yeah.
You kind of need to watch out, you know, what you're saying, but
yeah.
My LCD screen or my camera is always like covered with my you know, spits because of I constantly talk while I'm taking photos. So when I'm prompting some posing directions, I'm still taking photos before and after the moment. So I'm sorry, before and after the posing. So you know, I kind of capture like all these like sort of spontaneous moments happening before and after posing. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, you definitely. And when we show some of the work, and definitely we've shown a few of Ken's photos through the podcast, but you definitely would want to check out his site and see. You can see a lot of these fun, spontaneous types of things that we're talking about. It's definitely worth checking out because most photographers don't do that good of a job of getting the types of stuff that Ken can get. So if you are listening, you definitely want to check out his portfolio. Some really fun stuff. Cool. So looks like we got some really good insight on to one of the keys to really being successful over your history of working on just making that connection with the couples. Is there any other like go-to business tips more on the business side or success side of being a photographer that you would pass on? Or
I was gonna talk some about the my experience through contest sites.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'd probably be a good time into that.
This is how I bring the contest to my business. So I can talk about other stuff, but these are the stuff that not many people talk about. So I like to touch base with my experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Contest communities. So what's the purpose of doing contests? Self-validation, rewarding yourself, experience some failures.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I don't know. It's just everybody has different perspectives, and then not everybody is interested in a contest because, like, it's really hard to have our work validated by other people. We think our work is best in my heart. I think if you show your photos to your mom would say, "Hey, you're the best photographer in the world."
Yeah.
But we only have one mom who can support us. So it's really hard to get third-person point of view about our work. So this is like one of the ways I found that if I want to move to the next level, I have to show my work to other people just to see where I am, and based on their critiques. So it's the first thing is a self critiquing process, and because I don't have my mentor every day, I don't have anybody who's better than me around me, honestly. So I have to find somebody outside of this area or local community, just whoever can give me a better critiques, and that has to be a very structured, constructive, critiques that I get. So I found the contest is a really good source to have a kind of indirect critiques about my work. If my work wins, that means there's something about this photo. If I don't win, then something is missing, or something is not complete, or something is not, fully creative or unique or original. So this is how I study my work. And if you win awards, definitely it makes you feel over the moon. And you gain a lot of confidence about your work. So that transfers to your next session or weddings. You come to the wedding with confidence and overly happy vibes. So that really kind of inspires my clients who see me getting excited.
Yeah.
And also you can beautify, enrich your social media postings too, showing all these achievements you have. So your future clients who see your work, I'm pretty sure they're gonna hire you because of your beautiful work, amazing personality. But it's one of the small elements that really helps you, getting more cohesive, more attached to their search of photographer.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure they have a certain level of pride or validation when they're trying to choose, and they say, "Oh, we think we want to go with Ken. I think it's the right choice." And then they see, "Holy crap, he's ranked, the best in the world," in all these organizations. Makes them feel more confident that they're getting a really good photographer.
Yeah, and then it's not the only clients, the future clients who are gonna see your all these postings on social media or on your website, but it's the planner and the venue managers. They approach to you and saying, "I love your work. I saw you winning some awards," because it never happens in their industry.
Right.
So they want to find a photographer who has validation process, because we shoot weddings without any certification as a photographer or whatever. It's just really hard for them to identify who's good or who's bad or who's mediocre. So planners, they come with the respect, and then try to connect me to their future clients, and that's another awesome benefit, being in the contest sites communities. And then also for SEO, so a lot of contest sites, they have strong SEOs, and then their cross linking really helps, scoring better with the Google search. So, and lastly, your work and your portfolio really make yourself stand out from the locals, or any competitions you have in the market. I know our photography industry is highly saturated because of the fast transition of digital technology.
Yeah, for sure.
It makes everyone easy to grab a camera and then start shooting weddings.
Yeah. So it's gotten really easy just to be a decent photographer, for sure.
Those credentials really help to validate yourself from others. So I don't know if I have covered most of it, but I really enjoy as a person, as a photographer. I really enjoy networking with others, and then I learn tons from others. You Joshua, I can learn a lot of stuff from you. Also, I can learn a lot of stuff from photographer in Germany, photographer in Nigeria, because we are all connected through the internet. So because your name is being recognized people start seeing your name here and there, and then they like to connect you, and then like talk about or ask yourself to inspire them. So this is how things work. And then if you need something, if you need help on your website design or SEO, or if you want some critiques about your work, you can always ask other people easily.
Yeah, definitely.
As you found all these like crazy, awesome people.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts, especially about some of the communities within the photography community, like the Fearless community. It's super amazing. You would think, because it is such a competitive career, especially in your local market, there's so many photographers and so much competition. It's like, even though it's so competitive, like photographers act the least competitive compared to how much competition there actually is. Like maybe because it's such a lonely, isolated job and such a unique job, there's not very many people that do what we do or do something like this. And so I think we care more about that connection and friendship versus competition. It's really a neat thing about the photography community. And I'm sure there's some micro examples of people like butting heads and competitive in their market and stuff. But on the bigger scale, like I find that photographers are super open to helping each other and learning.
I think photography as a form of art, like it's a lifelong process of studying and then learning and then being inspired and then inspiring other people. So it's a very self-developmental process for life, maybe even after you're dead. So there's no end or beginning of your art as a complete process. So for me, I really enjoy learning from others and then learning from my mistakes and then learning from my own spontaneous creative visions. So I often surprise to myself that, I can find this and then apply it to make a good photo. So I think contest is like, it's a really good trigger for me to stay with that, motivation.
For sure. Yeah, I think you mentioned a lot of good practical things, business-wise, to like winning awards and all that kind of stuff. But I think the self-reflection that it forces you to do is probably the most valuable aspect. It definitely has pushed me, especially, and now it's to the point where like the Fearless Photographers Awards are so good. Like everybody's been learning from each other and getting better and better. Like to win an award now, it's like insane. Like there's so many good photographers that are submitting amazing awards that are amazing images that are not winning. Like when you see some of the photos that like were the losers, I guess you would say, like when every once in a while we would post like the finalists or people that only got one vote, and you're like, these are good enough to win like in almost any award organization a few years ago. It's like, so now it's almost hard to reflect like that your photos aren't good enough, because you can have an award-winning image and still not win. So you may be submitting to multiple organizations helps, because some are a little bit easier to win, and then but when you do get to the point where you're winning like Fearless Awards, you can be proud of it.
Well, not every contest is like at the Oscar level or Pulitzer level,
right?
But still, like you really enjoy just like there's a self-validation process. And then there's a lot of benefit, like unforeseen benefit you can get out of this being part of this community.
Yeah, and I think that's sometimes probably the hardest part, because it's close to our heart. It's our art. It's who we are as our identity. It's just how good we are, essentially, to a certain extent. So when you're submitting to awards and you're constantly losing in the beginning or whatnot, not winning, it might be defeating at first. So that might be hard for a lot of photographers, and that's part of why there's almost like a movement online. People say contests are dumb and overrated. It's bad for you, because some people really struggle with it when their work's not being validated. And it doesn't necessarily mean your work's not good. It just maybe that style of photos that you're taking aren't what that award system's looking for. Like there's a whole style of photography that would never win Fearless Awards that's still awesome, and you're happy. You're making your clients super happy. However, I do agree. I think if you are truly trying to grow as an artist, that doing the awards can be a major push, because that actual point where it's saying, oh, my work's not good enough, should motivate most people. Like for me, that was very motivating. When I first discovered Fearless, I'm like, oh my God, these photos are great. And then go through my portfolio. Okay, these 10 might be worth a shot at winning. And then they didn't win. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm just not good enough yet. What am I missing? And so that losing is almost like that's a failure, a micro failure that motivates you to learn. And so for me, I almost felt like losing Fearless Awards, because like the first 3 years I submitted Fearless Awards, I didn't win anything. And then you're like, should I give up? But that was every single time I lost. I'm like, gosh dang it. All right, what is it that my work is missing? Like, because I'm not winning. I need to figure it out, like you mentioned. And that forced me to grow. And I would look at the winners. And you're not trying to copy a winner, but you're saying, what elements? Okay.
Yeah, right.
That one's got way more emotion. Or like, look how clean it is. Like when I submitted a moment, like there was busyness in the background. Like, and it forces you to reflect. And if you do that, that's the best way to learn from awards, I believe. And now I had a round that just came out. I didn't win anything in, and the same thing. I'm like, I got remotivated because last year I hit my goals. I always wanted to be ranked and get multiple awards and get top 100s. I finally did, and then I was like, okay, it's not that big a deal anymore. And then I lost this round. I guess I didn't win anything, and I'm like, crap. All right, I gotta get better again.
Well, most of the time, photographers once they're done with the editing, they forget about what they captured.
Yeah.
But this process really helps you keeping up with the best of your work, and then ultimately like it helps you booking more weddings and like unfolds more opportunities, like speaking at the conferences or doing your own workshop. I don't know, there's so many opportunities you can do. You can be an ambassador for some brands, like once you gain some sort of fame, then there's like opportunities you can't really foresee now, but definitely you can enjoy all these like benefits coming out of it. And there was a drama I wanted to kind of share, like why I started joining the contest sites. Besides what I talked so far, I had some drama with local photographers. I thought like they were like my blood, like sort of brothers without the blood. Without sharing the same DNA, but I had drama, and then I had a really really down time for a while before I joined the Fearless community and other communities. And I was like, once I unfriended everybody. I basically unfriended everybody except a few people, and then I try to find a way, just like get out of this crazy industry and then help myself grow better. So I started looking for some ideas, and then I think the contest site was the one of the fastest way to get my name out in the market and have myself recognized and respected. So that's why I started like pursuing the contest, and I was like working on this like day and night for the first 2 years, and then after 2 years, I started speaking at the conferences. My first one was Mystic Seminars in Portland, Oregon. And then I started speaking at the conference in Mexico and Peru. Everything happened within 2 years. Ever since I joined the Fearless community and other contest communities. So definitely you can give yourself a try and see how well you can do it. But it's all meant to be your self satisfaction, and then gaining more confidence out of yourself. And then just enjoy your life better than before. And there's a lot of stress and then pressure, but it's all part of the process.
That's what pushes you to get better, right? If you don't have any pressure and if you're too comfortable, then you're just not going to improve. So you mentioned you were working really hard for 2 years in the contest. So is there like a process that you've tried to go through to getting to where you're having like award-winning images, or is it just kind of a spontaneous thing, or do you have like a creative thought process or anything?
I think going to the conference has really helped me to meet the people I used to respect and look up to. I still look up to them, but they were like my heroes back then. And I wanted to be not just like them, but I wanted to get 2% of how they got to this stage of their life as a photographer. So after taking some selfies with the founder of Fearless, Ben Chrisman, Lenny Mann, Erica Mann, Simon Loven, Sergio Lopez, Brian Calloway, Alison Calloway, all these like amazing people who had a huge inspiration in my heart. Just like having them to be in my selfie, I was like, wow, this is like more than an award. That really kind of that really sparked me to like work harder, and they're just putting their hand over my shoulder really touched my heart. And then, like
that's awesome.
Awoke my brain. So yeah.
Cool. It kind of inspired you that like you can get to their level because they're real people that accepted
real people,
you.
like meeting up with the real people and then become their friend is just like how you kind of like move on to the next level.
For sure. Yeah, this is really making me miss the conferences because that was, I think we met at Mystic a few years back, and you meet so many amazing people, and the Friends of Fearless conference last year was so awesome, and that was right before the world came to a halt. So I was just thinking about that today, man. I really wish we could get back to that where we can get together and get our creative juices going.
Intercom, definitely.
I can't. I definitely can't wait to get back to a photography conference. There's something, even if you don't learn. I mean, you do learn when people are speaking like nuts and bolts of photography, right? But there's something about being around people that are similarly minded and have that creative ambition that reignites you and kind of inspires you. And because when you're on your own in your home office every day, and I don't know, there's something about being around other people that you want to be like, or that want to be like you, and that helps motivate you and inspire you to move forward.
Like, when I went to my first conference, I didn't know anybody. When they had a party at night, I only knew one person, and that person I met her through like this online community. So even that person was like my first time seeing her in person. And then the rest of the people, I never met them. I never knew their names. And that's how everything started. Like spinning and then going crazy in networking. And here I am.
Yeah, awesome.
It's been only 7 years since then.
Yeah, only 7. Man, actually, I wonder how long it's been since Mystic. It's been a while. This time flies.
Yeah.
Cool. So definitely. So it sounds like a big part of your creative drive is contests, and I think that I share that a little bit. I haven't had the same level of success that you've had in awards, but I'm working on it. We'll be there in a few years, hopefully. But I agree. I think that photographers taking that to heart and really using that as a way to push themselves is a good.
But it shouldn't be your like something dictating your mindset or something
for sure.
Your business. It's just like something you have to enjoy. If you don't enjoy, you don't have to do it.
Right. Yeah. If it makes you miserable, because some people it does, like the constant rejection and everything, and it might just be that you have amazing work that those judges don't like that style or something or whatever. So it doesn't mean you're a bad photographer for sure if you're not winning, but it can help you be critical of yourself. So if you can handle being critical of yourself, that's.
Hey, Joshua, speaking of judging, I'd like to introduce you to some other contest who are looking for judges.
So, I would love to judge. That'd be awesome.
You can learn a ton from the
absolutely
judging.
Yeah.
You think you can judge other people's work? No. You're gonna have to judge your work before they see you see their work.
Yeah, that's got to be a whole nother level of thought process now, because now you're critiquing other great work and trying to figure out why you like sharing photos over others. That's probably a whole nother way to push yourself. Yeah,
it's a different way of seeing your work, but it really helps learning a lot from by seeing other people's work.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be amazing. I've been hoping to get that honor someday. So if you have a connection with that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like critiquing, and trying to learn from. Critiquing is a great way to learn, because then you're trying to look critically at a photo and just say what's good about it, what could be better, how did they get to that point. It's an important part of your thought process. Ever since I began photography, that was like a big part of my of what I did. Cool. So definitely the awards is a big part of your creativity. Is there anything else that is important to you as getting into that creative mindset or being creative? Is there like a thought process while you're on a wedding day?
So besides wedding photography, I try to read a lot of books that is like, relevant to my interest, relating to like evoking my creative vision. So I try to look at a lot of books, especially like documentary or like photojournalistic projects or photojournalism itself. And then I try to watch some movies that is completely non-related to the wedding photography. I try to see how the lighting composition work in the cinematic industry, animations, how animators put all these like elements, and then how they compose as a.
Yeah, I found almost you can learn a lot from even Pixar movies, because like these artists, they think about composition, and I find it fascinating that their composition is so good, like from a photography perspective, and yet they drew it from scratch. So they had to, I don't know if they were photographers in the background or as part of their training to learn, but it's pretty, there's some, I'll catch myself watching these movies. Oh, that was pretty cool, the way they did the angle, the layering there, the symmetry.
Yeah. Sometimes I watch K-pop, the music videos. I try to kind of study the angles and then lighting works they do. So like it's not like I'm just like watching him. I'm just like pause it and then try to kind of analyze how things work.
Yeah, studying it. Yeah,
and try to kind of imagine the behind the scene moments. And then also as I watch like some animations, sometimes I capture the moment at the wedding as a like animated scene. So it looks like an animation for my vision. So. That really helps me to see things differently. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a great creative exercise too. Is definitely consuming other types of art and seeing how you can relate it. I know in the first episode of the podcast we interviewed Jay LaPlante and Maura LaPlante. He was talking about doing movies too as a big part of his inspiration.
Yeah, and then every time I do every time I spend in my shower room or the toilet, it's like my meditation time. So it just like empties my mindset, and then as I'm trying to kind of push something out of my body or try to take a shower on the water, it's just like I don't know, it kind of cleanses my spirit, and then I try to kind of refresh myself with the thinking process. So sometimes I get really good ideas in the shower room. And as soon as I get out of the shower room, there's like notepad and then pencil sitting in my bathroom, and then I always try to draw something that I saw.
That's awesome.
My imagination.
Yeah, that's really smart. And I think that's actually a huge aspect of maybe trying to improve your work, is really that process that we kind of forget about, which is having dedicated time just to let your mind be free to be creative. And especially nowadays is with our cell phone addictions, it's so easy that when you have downtime, like when your brain has boring, the second you get bored, you pick up your phone. Yeah. And it's so easy to do that. I had to that's part of why I deleted all this, because I used to be a big daydreamer. I remember in school, like I'd walk into school, that's 20 minutes of like quiet time for your brain, and I would write something, I'd come up with a poem or whatever. I was always trying to be creative. And now that's like gone, because when I get bored, I go, oh, what's going on with Reddit? What's on the news? And so I almost need to force myself to like have quiet time for my brain. Yeah, because that's when you're gonna be creative. So even if I'm on YouTube learning, like I try to learn all the time, but still, like for you to come up with new ideas, you have to have your brain needs to be bored. So it's almost like let yourself be bored. Be in the shower without music and podcasts and just think. So that's probably a really good helpful tip that a lot of people can think of, and it's something that might have been less of a big deal 10 years ago, before, when people were bored all the time and experienced that. Like even on the toilet, like people were on their phone. So like when do you have like bored, quiet time for your brain to really process and think of its own ideas?
Yeah, I think being in your own space without any distractions coming, I think that's a very important process, just to give yourself a little more rest to your brain and then your body, and then kind of refresh and then recoup with the new ideas.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely feel free to listen to my podcast while you're out for a hike. But every other time, take a moment to walk and with quiet. Yeah, I think that's a really good tip, and I'm going to try to work on bringing that back into my schedule more too. Of just the quiet brain time. I've been thinking about it, but I haven't done it. It's too hard to shut off the stimuli, right? Cool. So we've got a lot of great insight from you. I want to pull up a couple of your photos. Some of these have been inspiration to me, so that it's kind of cool that you picked them, and hopefully they'll inspire other people. But I'd love to get your story on these. We'll just go in order that they're popping up here, and you can tell us a little bit about these.
So it's not the first time I'm doing this. I've done some spontaneous like beer spray shots before, and it was definitely inspired by the champagne spray that I saw from Italian weddings or Spaniard weddings in Europe. but it doesn't really happen many times in U.S., especially like spraying the champagne or beer bottles all together. It's only the groom and bride. So my inspiration was like, hey, what about like grouping all like participants together, like the wedding party together for the spray. And then for this picture, besides the moments, I try to match the colors of the gel with the groom's suit.
Okay, so the blue was intentional for the suit to kind of tie together. Yeah.
And then the beer being sprayed on the left side, that color kind of matches the bride. So I didn't do much about because the colors already match together. So the bridesmaid's dress and then the just like the beer. Oh
yeah, too cool. Yeah, that was subconscious. I didn't really pay attention to that.
These were my spontaneous ideas besides the spray. And then I try to do this towards the end of the wedding day. So I don't really make the planner or venue managers mad about having their floor get wet. Just like after this, they just left. So this
is like the end of the night.
One of the last photos.
Awesome. Were they? Did you take them outside, like in the parking lot?
It was a rooftop outside.
Oh, cool.
On the 15-story building. It's half of the building is an apartment complex, and then a few top floors are like just like dedicated to like office space and then event space. So this is a rooftop. Right behind this spray is the DC, like the scene right there, the DC scenic view. One of the reasons why I try to do it at the last was the people get drunk. And then, it's easy to make them look crazy enough for the photos. So if you do this earlier, then, it's really hard to get their faces wasted. But this one, definitely, like, a lot of people got wasted, and then they got just, like, drunk, crazy. That's why none of them is looking at the camera. Because they're purely enjoying wet the beer. And then what are the times they can do this in their life? It's maybe only time they can enjoy this craziness. So I think it's just like, I help them just enjoy their pure joy of their lifetime memories. And then also these bottles are leftovers from their party, and that they were transported all the way from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This brand is native to their area.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so, and this is where the bride is from. Actually, the groom as well. So I think there's a lot of like little connections, like details that really make their photos look special to them.
Yeah, and so to us from the outside, it just looks really cool, but then you got some extra connection for them, so they can really enjoy it. That's awesome. Yeah. And so it looks like, so you just have like a blue gel backlighting them behind, and then one flash to the right of the camera, or?
One flash with the beauty disc.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I was going to say it actually
sprays wide. Yeah.
Yeah, some good quality of light.
You don't want to go too crazy about the feeling light. I think it's more important is just like backflash with the color gels, just to make the spray looks more colorful and then more dynamic. Yeah,
you got to definitely get it lit up with the backlight. And this one kind of almost went a little bit viral. I feel like I saw it on the internet several times, and like it's been. I don't know if it's your first one, but one that other photographers I've seen try to do since. I don't know if you were the first one, but the first one I saw, I thought you were the first one that did this specific.
As a group, I'm the one. I'm the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I saw it with the individual idea, but yeah. So that's pretty. That's kind of cool. Like when you see other people kind of inspired by your photo.
And then also just one more story about this photo. The bride actually saw my first try at a different wedding, and that really inspired her to do this at the end of the day. And then she actually brought the second dress for this. She wanted to get wet,
nice,
just like fresher dress with her second dress. But because everybody got wet, everybody got drunk, and then just like running out of time, and she just decided to stay with her own dress, the main dress.
Yeah, that makes it more authentic to her, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I love that photo. I'm gonna probably actually I hate copying like specific things. I try to make it my own, so I'm gonna come up with my own twist. But I have like the perfect bride for this shot.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I just know that they're going to want this photo. So I'm like, I'm going to try. But I'll see if I can come up with my own twist. I'm not fully copying you. But it will definitely, either way, be inspired by the shot. So hopefully I can pull it off. Sweet. Yeah, that's next month.
You can add special value to their collection of the memories.
Yeah, I'll have to think of how I can make it theirs. But they're just like this super fun couple. Like I know they want to do. We did like the solo one on their engagement sessions. So I was like, we got to do it for like your whole bridal party and see what we can make happen. Awesome, cool. Yeah, I love that photo. Definitely awesome. And this kind of ties back to so we showed one that is like your fun, over the top creative, and now this is more like that super real raw emotion that the other part of your style.
I'm just sharing the two extreme photos.
Mm-hmm.
When like. In terms of emotions, this like very like I don't know, tearful emotion, and then the other one is like extreme emotion with the happiness and joy. So this one is like closer to the moment where everybody is departing from the wedding,
mm-hmm.
and then one of the bridesmaid who happens to be the bride's best friend just became so emotional, and I think it's probably due to the alcohol consumption she had.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, that helps. And then that's why her tear is getting really wet. What I really wanted to capture was the texture of the tear. So when I saw, actually this was happening right outside of the venue, as some of the bridesmaids were departing from the wedding, and then. We didn't have any good light source. The only light source I had was the like a light stick on my left hand. But if I light them from my left side, it's really hard to get the texture of the tear, and then the face of the bridesmaid who's crying really hard. So I immediately gave it to the other bridesmaids who were just like watching them crying and hugging on the right side. So I just like handed over my light and asked them to just hold it. And without saying loud, just like really like quick prompt, hey, can you just hold it? And then I started taking just photos. It just happened within like 1 or 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm actually more blown away now that I hear the backstory, because like when you see, I mean, it's a killer moment for sure. Like this is like the dream shot where every time I see tears, I'm in there. And then like to get that depth, and half the time that you see him crying, like the tear doesn't really show up. And you're like, dang it. And then so not only you get the tear, it's on the bride. It's so killer. But then the challenge when you get a killer moment is you don't have time to really set up and make the light perfect. So the fact that you were like able to go in ninja mode and get off your flash in time, because I know these things happen like that. Like, and that's the other thing. People that see these, they almost think like you got super lucky. This amazing moment happened right in front of your face, and you had all the time to shoot it, or that you set it up because it's too perfect. But they happen so fast, it's so hard to capture. To be able to manipulate it and add to the light, that makes it even more impressive, because I thought maybe you got lucky that they did it. I was like, man, how'd you get so lucky that they did it in the right light?
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have even thought you had enough time to do anything about it. Like,
yeah, that's why it's very important to carry at least like LED lights in your hand.
Yeah.
When you are walking around the venue, you don't really have to carry a flash like on the tripod or something. Just like one small flash really, or like one LED light really helps.
Yeah, because you never know. Yeah, I try to have like a mini flash in my pocket. So even if I'm like, I'm not gonna need a light, but like just having it, because you never know when a quick pop is gonna make all the difference.
And I never captured something like this before, especially like this teardrop become two. It's like a splitting into two like runny teardrop, and then what I wanted to capture was like, I instantly thought like, oh, this is like one of them is for the bridesmaid and the other one is for the bride.
Mm-hmm.
So her single drop become two over the bride's shoulder. It was like, oh my, I had like goosebumps in the beginning, and then like I had to do something. So my immediate response was just to move that light source, direction, change the direction, and then just capture it as they're like hugging, because that last drop would go inside of her elbow and disappear.
Yep.
And I wanted to capture that the teardrop running closer to armpit or like her elbow right there. So
Yeah.
I was in a hurry to take this photo, but definitely, it's a true moment. I didn't fabricate any moment.
Right.
There.
Yeah, you can't fabricate this one. It's just too good.
That's why I didn't Photoshop her earring, because I know it looks too bright, but it's just like, photo doesn't have to be complete all the time. It's just like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Little imperfections make your photos look extraordinary special.
So are you like in really close to like a 35 to be able to have that much?
So I shot it with a 35, and then I think I cropped it.
Okay.
Cropped it closer to her, like below her eyebrow, and then above their elbow, so it doesn't have the extra distractions other than your viewing of the teardrops and then her smile. And what are the chances the bridesmaid cry this hard and still making smile?
Yeah, that's so perfect. So I know, like you said, you got goosebumps while it's happening. Were you like freaking out, slightly nervous, like don't mess it, because you don't get a moment this perfect? Like, I've had that a couple times. Once I made this shot, and the other time I blew it when I was like, oh my god, this is so perfect, and like this is never happen again. One was like the bride and groom had a cake. They were cut, and I happened to go, okay, this position's. I got the plane shot. I'm just gonna move my position. Nothing's happening. The second I start to move, the cake starts tipping over, and the bride and groom are like, oh, like the biggest expression ever. And I could tell, like, oh no, I just had it. Literally, if I would have stayed there for a half a second longer or got to the new position a half a second quicker, I would have had like the greatest photo I ever took. Like, it was so perfect, but I blew it. And so I still am living it down. Like 3 years later, probably some of my second photographers probably laughing right now because they've heard me tell the story like 5 times. The one that got away, yeah. And so you're like, this is too good. It's like. And then you catch it. And the only other one that I've did it and that I caught it was, I got a fearless award for, was the boy was wiping away his tears while looking at the bride and groom like through their hands putting their ring on. So, and I saw it happening. Like, I kept watching for it to happen, and then it all came together. I'm like, don't blow it. Like, you got to capture this. Like, I was like missing focus for a second. Yeah, and then it hit. So yeah, that's makes it all worth it.
These are the moments you never get to anticipate.
There's
no prediction about such moment. It just like happens. I was lucky enough to be at the same spot with these people, but my spontaneous response to the groom and bride is like, I want to chase them around the whole day. So I actually I was looking for the bride, and then I saw them standing outside, and then I just like stay there and I with the hope that there'll be something happening. So. Such a moment doesn't happen all the time at the weddings, but sometimes you get lucky as you strive through, and then. Yeah,
it's lucky, and it's made your own luck at the same time. So you're lucky that it all worked this time, but I think the part where if people wonder how the heck do you keep getting so lucky, because you get this lucky several times. You got killer photos like this in the past. Like
that's why when you're doing a boxing in the ring box, if you turn around, walk away, then you lose. Right, so it's the same mentality at the weddings. If you drop your camera and then turn away, then you miss that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So
you never bring it back to their life.
So if you never get moments like this, here's probably what's going on, right? So you said this is at the end, towards the end of the reception. Everybody's kind of drunk. You've probably already shot like 5,000 dancing photos, and you're kind of tired. And you're like, I did my work. Like, there's nothing to shoot. Oh, the bride's just standing outside in the parking lot. Like, there's nothing going on. And so you're not capturing these things because you're not hoping. So you're following them around. You go outside, and maybe there wouldn't have been a moment. But the fact that you're always hunting for these things is why you're able to stumble upon them. And that's kind of why, like, my biggest pet peeve, if I hear a photographer say there's nothing to shoot. Like, I've had second photographers tell me that. Yeah, there's nothing to shoot. I'm like,
pet peeve, yeah.
No. Well, they're just not thinking like a photojournalistic type photographer. Okay, they got all the obvious stuff, I guess, right?
With the posing,
Maybe, I don't know. But when I hear that, I'm like, maybe, but like, my best photos are when you're just like hunting, right? You're just like those crazy moments where you're just, maybe there's something, I gotta keep looking. And then, so you probably went through that process 15 times, 100 times before this photo came up, but because you're always hunting, you're always looking. And so, yeah, if you're not getting lucky, it's because you're not constantly hunting and trying to get lucky, I guess.
Yeah. You gotta rely on your feet.
Yeah, for sure. My feet hurt so bad after a wedding. Yeah. Part of me is like, I gotta get better shoes, and I gotta lose like 40 pounds. And then maybe my feet will stop hurting. But yeah, that's awesome. And so the fact that you made that light makes it And now I know that the reason why all my tear shots don't look like tears. Every time I'm like, what the heck? You can't see it. It's like, because I'm probably flashing it from the front, or there's good.
Yeah, I think that's from my self-critiquing process.
Yeah.
Every time I capture the tears, like they look so flat.
Yep.
I don't see any contour or any textures out of it. So
yeah,
this was like, after thinking so much about getting the good shot of the teardrops, like this is how I responded to the moment by shifting my light source to the right side. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, because even my last wedding, I had an awesome moment. That's not as powerful as this, but basic, where mom's crying, hugging her son during the first dance. And I happen to have like an on-camera just fill light. And you can't really tell she's crying, even though I felt it. And so if I would turn the on-camera off and just let my side cameras light up the tears. So I'm going to keep that in mind next time. So I got, and this is the difference between like good and like great stuff, is like when you constantly are reflecting on your work, you're going to think of stuff like that. To the level of how am I lighting tears? How many photographers have thought of that? I've just thought my tears aren't good enough, but I haven't gotten to that level.
That's why you need to be friends with everybody at the moment. They like to help you. They're like, they can hardly say no when you ask for help. So just like give them your light and then deal with it,
Yeah.
And they're gonna appreciate that, oh my God, I assisted Joshua Grasso for this amazing shot.
Yeah.
Do I get the credit for it? Of course. It's like, this is how you connect yourself with the people at the wedding. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely, I think, enjoy the fact I got to help, and when it turns out cool, it's like, yeah, I helped make that. Yep. Yeah. So awesome. Yeah, that's a killer photo. I guess key lessons there: constantly be looking. You never know when because you're in close. From the outside, it doesn't look like much, but when you make it happen and are constantly hunting for this moment, you'll find it.
But the next photo, if you can bring up the table photo.
Okay, table first. All right, let me. Oh, it's good. All right, cool.
So it's the same way, they brought their dog to their small wedding last year, and it was only like 2-hour wedding celebrations, including like 20-minute ceremony and then hour luncheon. So that's why they have all these like to-go boxes for their wedding luncheon, because they wanted to kind of keep a social distance from their parents and then other people. Anyways, this is a church like courtyard, so nothing crazy, nothing special. This is where they're supposed to get married on the normal day, but because of the COVID. But like, because they allowed dog at the church, like on the church ground, I was like, that was really fascinating. I've never seen like DC church allowing dog to be around the courtyard. And then this dog, because it's kind of like puppy, it's less than a year old. They adopted this dog from the foster home. This dog doesn't really listen. Like, it's not really well trained. So, and then this dog has a lot of curiosity. So it's been like searching around the food, like dropped off of the table, or like looking for the cuddling from the parents. So this is when dog try to get underneath the table and then look for food, asking for food from the couple. And then the couple was like listening to the talks from the other tables. So I thought this was like very interesting. But I've been chasing around this dog for a whole day, or 2 hours. And because I thought it was a very interesting subject, and then because of their love of dog, I thought any pictures of the dog make their memories, the wedding memories, so special. So not every photo has the dog in it, but about 30% of their photos have dog in it, and this is one of them. And then I really wanted to capture this moment as a beautifully processed, artistic form of photo by like engaging all my thinking process into like all these like compositional elements, framing, and then just like some conceptual ideas. So everything just happened. The dog will stay there for about less than 10 seconds. So I was in the other side of the corner, and then I quickly moved it, and then just like captured the moment from the center. So because I saw the like symmetry.
Yeah, the symmetry of it. I noticed that it's a very simple. It's like
Simple, and then
elegant in its plain and its simplicity. Yeah.
And I just love that green bowl sitting underneath, because it signifies that's for the dog. So, and this is how how they care about their dog, giving water during this hot summer wedding day. So yeah,
that's awesome.
It's nothing special, but sometimes you kind of get to kind of encounter some sort of a serendipity moment.
Yep. So, and similar to the last one where you're always hunting for these types of things. It's not like, oh, there's nothing to shoot. Is everybody just sitting in a courtyard, like they're constantly looking. So do you think you were kind of, because you said as soon as you saw the dog, you were there and you were kind of ready for it. So do you think like when you see places where there might be a potential moment later, like you're kind of anticipating, do you think you were kind of anticipating this and waiting for something like this?
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah. But I because I have a dog, I know their psychology.
Yeah.
And then the bride, kept giving her dog like some, like, I don't know, pieces of meat left over from the wedding luncheon. So, and then groom kept saying, no, don't feed our dog with the human food. But she was so like compassionate, so she just like kept giving food to this dog. And then this is how things happen. I kind of knew that dog would be around the tables asking for food, and then if you close look to the tablecloth, you see the foot marks, the paw marks.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So he has already jumped on the table before.
That's funny.
So these are all like kind of makes a really good story for their wedding memories.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess you weren't anticipating this moment, but you had your eye out for the dog doing something, kind of thing, because you knew you wanted it.
Not only watching the dog, but when things happen like this, like in perfect symmetry, the dog kind of like comes as a table legs and stuff like that. It's like you use your imagination to capture in this formation. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So some good versatility, and then the last one that we're sharing is, I would say, another signature of like your style, where the fun, like stuff that you spontaneous fun. Oh, and you added a little fun update to it, I see here.
Yeah.
I guess I'll show the
original one.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot, in case people were listening only to the audio, to like describe each image. But this one, in case you're listening to only audio, it's and this one went a little bit viral on like wedding blogs. I remember seeing it outside of your portfolio with the bride like shooting a cannon, and then all the grooms synchronized, like jumping away. And his funny little update, adding the viral Bernie sitting. I'll show the one without it too. Awesome. Cool. So yeah, a little bit of this story.
So this Manassas Battlefield is not too far away from the church they got married. And we were only given about 30 minutes to do their group photos outside of the church. And then the only greenery space is like this battlefield, which is like 5 minutes away from the church.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I gather everybody for pictures, and then I've been shooting like the cliche group photos. And then all of a sudden, as we walk towards the cannon, I was like, I just thought about something like a Naked Gun, poster. You know that movie? Yeah. So just like something shooting and then jumping. I thought it's some sort of I don't know, just like my spontaneous idea really popped out from that movie when I saw that cannon, and then I did something funny, but I didn't take this shot from the beginning. Actually, we made about 3 or 4 jumps. The first jump was made when the horizon really didn't work out as a separation from the body. So that was my first mistake. And then the second direction was hey, I'm going to lower my body closer to the ground and then shoot from there. Just wait for me. So I took my time to get on the ground and then adjust myself, because I didn't have a mirrorless back then, so I had to put my
back when you had to get on the ground and look through the viewfinder. It was so hard.
Yeah. That's how you pick up all the pics.
I almost feel lazy now as a photographer because like I used to always lay on the ground and try to look through the stinking viewfinder, and then you looked like you're really working hard. So
and this is also performance. People get really impressed when you work really hard. It kind of shows that you're working really hard. Anyways, so I got myself really like down to earth, like closer to the ground, and then try to capture. And then luckily, the ground was lawn mowed before, so it's a clean surface. And then only thing I have to worry about is like not getting the trees touching their bodies. So my whole idea was like I want to separate it so I can get them clean shot. So the second shot didn't jump well, so I had to redo this again. And then this like from the third shot, and it pretty much like they perfected everything. So, and the whole process only took less than a minute. So.
Oh, awesome.
And then we continued on the other like group photos, like pair shots. But this is like my signature photo, and then this always stays on the first page of my website or like first slideshow on other media form. Just like it really speaks for my style, my personality, and then how I see things and how I capture. So, and then this kind of photo is pretty unique to our local wedding industry. So whenever groom and bride, they're searching for the photographer with the quirky, some creative ideas, this really kind of hits their eyes and then their mindset, and then and this really brings me a lot of leads. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely a great marketing image because it instantly says, this guy's fun. He's going to do creative stuff. So anybody that wants to have fun, and then that helps you get more fun photos because you get the types of people that want fun photos. This is the one thing I wish I could do better of. Maybe it's because I'm too shy and introverted to like be like crazy, and like I've gotten really good at capturing moments, so I lead with that. But like and then like candid portraits, but I'd love to be able to learn to integrate this into my style a little bit because I get that type of client. Like I like that type of client that wants to have fun and do something a little different.
And this kind of photos really brings me like clients with the matching personalities and vibes. So most of clients happen to be like most relaxing and most laid back clients, and their background is like doctors, lawyers, professors, or busy professionals. But like inside of their heart, like they're looking for something like this. Like they like to have fun at the wedding, and then this kind of really works to match their vision.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So that's another part of constantly trying to be creative and really pushing yourself is you get that one photo that helps define your style, and then you probably started, I don't know, maybe you didn't book more because you might have had other stuff that was like selling, but being able to have an image that's this good at marketing and selling you, do you feel like that's helped your business immediately after this started being like displayed? Yeah. So constantly working for that signature image. How far along were you when you got this one? Because I think I saw this when you were at Mystic, so you've probably had this one a little while.
2015.
2015. So about halfway through your career kind of thing, and then...
Yeah, it's around the time when I started joining the Fearless community and then participating in the contest.
Oh, okay.
It's around the time, but I wasn't aware of the winning any awards. Just like I wanted to get a clean shot based on the stuff that I learned from from the initial stage of my learning process through these contest sites. So I listened to one of the few of the talks on the video. The videos they had. And then they talked about some separation stuff. So I kind of wanted to apply the separation. And then this is like after the cropping. So I wanted to kind of play with the rule of thirds by giving more space for the sky and then less for the ground. But in the original photo, it's pretty much half split. Like half for the 50% of the negative space for the sky and then the other 50% for the ground.
Yeah, it definitely works, like shifting it that way.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a really fun one. Cool. So definitely think we got a good gist of your signature style. Hopefully people stuck around to the end of the episode to see these awesome photos. So we got fun, quirky, creative. in emotional moments, quirky moments, and then just really fun, over the top creative stuff.
Yeah. So I wanted to kind of share like some super staged photos, but looking natural, and then this is like still staged but more natural, and then 2 like weird moments.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
I think having that good mix is really helpful and important. So awesome. Thanks for sharing that, your work and some of your approach. Is there anything else that you'd like to leave the audience with, or anything that about you that you want them to know, or stuff that, that you're working on, you want people in projects that you'd like people to hear about?
Yeah. I mean, if you happen to be a wedding photographer, there's so many resources out there, but just watch out, what you're learning from, and then what you're engaged to in terms of style and then community. I think, I had a struggle finding right people to inspire me in the beginning, and that's why I had a drama, and then try to search for better people outside of my comfort zone. So that's how I met all these amazing people, even Joshua, you, through the Mystics. So I really wanted to inspire people to like search for like, all these like inspirational, sources outside of your comfort zone. Just don't sit in your office. Just try to walk outside and then refresh your mind by breathing fresh air, and then try to reach out some people just to say hi, and then see where it takes to. But that's how you kind of like expand your networking and then learn from others. And if you happen to be the bride and groom, or just normal people, as we as a photographer, we constantly push ourselves to be unique photographer, different photographer, but highly dedicated photographer to our clients. So, and Joshua, I can tell you're highly dedicated, devoted to your client's wedding. The pictures really speak for your dedication.
Thanks.
And I guess I can give myself a little credit for that too.
Yeah. I did learn some from you, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. So in terms of delivering the images that my clients expect and beyond. So I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. I just didn't know if you had where people.
I may just say jargon, but
yeah. Did you have any upcoming workshops or anything that you're putting out there, or anything that you wanted people to know about that way?
I just postponed the workshop in Mexico because of the COVID, but we're trying to reschedule it. And then I just did a 1-hour mentorship with 3 different photographers past 2 weeks, and then I really enjoyed then seeing finding their weakness, and then have me correct or find or help them fix their issues or weaknesses from this 1-hour mentorship. So I don't know if I'm willing to do more, but hopefully if there's anyone looking for mentors, you can give yourself a little trial with me, and then see if I can be a help for you. But it's not my life goal. I'm not really pursuing the education, but if people are asking for it, I'm available to share my insights and then my knowledge level.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, that's good to know. So if any super Ken Pak fans, you can reach out to him. I think everybody should be a little bit of a fan. At least he's got some killer work. But yeah, awesome. Well, I appreciate all the time that you took with us and sharing a lot of about your process. I think this was a good learning experience for people that listen. A lot to take from it. So yeah, thanks so much, Ken, and can't wait to be talking to you again soon.
Thank you, Joshua. It was really nice talking with you.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Don't Feed the Photographers Photography Podcast. I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Ken Pak as much as I did. Such an inspiration to me. Hopefully it can be an inspiration to you. If you haven't checked out his work, get on it. Get to his website. See some of the fabulous images that he's been creating. And if you want to see more from Don't Feed the Photographers, you could subscribe to us on Spotify, iTunes, wherever else you get your podcast content, as well as YouTube. It is now on the Shutter School YouTube channel, so you can get some other educational content as well as all future episodes of Don't Feed the Photographers on the Shutter School YouTube channel. So give us a like and subscribe on the different platforms. I appreciate you taking the time to spend with us, and we'll see you on the next episode. Don't Feed the Photographers Photography Podcast. Peace.